The Interstellar Academy's training dome hummed with the electric anticipation of first contact simulations. Ma'aya stood in the center of the crystalline arena, her dark eyes scanning the observation deck, where instructors from 17 different species watched with clinical interest. She wore the standard-issue silver jumpsuit of human cadets. Though hers bore scorch marks from previous exercises, badges of honor she refused to have repaired. Ferret adjusted his targeting visor from his position 30 meters away, his fingers trembling slightly as they hovered over the trigger mechanism. The young officer had trained for 6 cycles on his homeworld of Zenthar Prime, where gravity was a gentle whisper and combat moved with the grace of dancers. He had graduated top of his class, earned commendations for tactical precision, and been selected to attend the academy alongside the galaxy's finest warriors. But he had never faced a human before. "Simulation parameters locked," announced Commander Vexthal, their translator implant rendering the clicking sounds into standard galactic. "Cadet Ferret will engage with non-lethal scanner bolts. Cadet Ma'aya will defend using only baseline equipment. No external enhancements permitted." Ferret's breathing apparatus fluttered nervously. Scanner bolts traveled at 300 meters per second, fast enough that most species required predictive software to even track them. The bolts weren't designed to be dodged. They were designed to tag targets for data collection, moving too quickly for organic reflexes to process. "Begin," Vexthal commanded. Ferret fired immediately, his training overriding his hesitation. The blue-white bolt shrieked through the air, a lance of light aimed directly at Maya's center mass. The trajectory was perfect, the timing instantaneous. The bolt never reached its target. Maya's hand snapped up with casual precision, her fingers closing around the energy projectile as if she were catching a ball thrown by a child. The scanner bolt crackled and died in her grip, its energy dissipating harmlessly between her fingers. She didn't flinch, didn't stumble. Her expression remained utterly calm, almost bored. "Earthborn," she said, her voice carrying easily across the dome. "Try again." The observation deck erupted in shocked chirps, hisses, and subsonic vibrations. Farit's targeting visor flickered, struggling to recalibrate what it had just witnessed. The readouts insisted that what he'd seen was impossible. No organic being possessed reaction times measured in microseconds. But the readouts were wrong. "How?" Ferret started. But Ma'aya was already moving. She crossed 15 meters in 2 seconds, her boots barely touching the ground. Ferret fired again. Then again. Each bolt precisely aimed at different vectors. Maya batted the first aside with her forearm, ducked under the second, and caught the third without breaking stride. The bolts might as well have been moving through honey for all the trouble they gave her. "Your species evolved on a low-gravity world," Maya said conversationally as she closed the distance. "0.8 standard G, if I remember correctly. Beautiful place, from the holos I've seen. Floating crystal forests, bioluminescent oceans." She caught another bolt, crushed it, and let the fragments fall like dying fireflies. "But you know what Earth has that Zenthar Prime doesn't?" Ferret tried to create distance, his training protocols screaming at him to establish a perimeter. But Ma'aya was already there, standing just outside his optimal range. Her head tilted with genuine curiosity. "Predators," she finished. "Real. Honest to God, predators that evolved alongside us. Things with teeth and claws and the kind of hunger that doesn't care about your tactical doctrine." She moved again, and this time Ferret barely saw her. One moment she was 3 meters away. The next, his weapon was in her hands, disassembled into 6 separate components before his neural pathways could register the motion. "Your reflexes are excellent," Maya said, handing him back the pieces. "For a species that evolved in paradise. But humans? We come from a death world, Ferret. Our gravity is crushing by your standards. Our atmosphere burns. Our oceans are filled with things that hunt in packs. Our ancestors didn't just compete with other humans. They competed with everything." She stepped back, resuming her original position in the center of the arena. "Simulation. Reset. Try again." Farit reassembled his weapon with shaking hands. Around the observation deck, The instructors leaned forward, their various sensory organs focused with laser intensity. This was why humanity's admission to the Interstellar Academy had been so controversial. This was why half the galaxy's military powers had objected to their inclusion. Humans didn't just meet the standards, they redefined them. Over the next 7 minutes, Ferret fired 63 scanner bolts. Maya caught, deflected, or dodged. Every single one. She didn't mock him or showboat, she simply existed in a state of awareness that seemed to bend the laws of physics through sheer biological absurdity. Her hands moved faster than his targeting computer could track. Her eyes saw trajectories before his weapon calculated them. When the simulation finally ended, Ferret collapsed to his knees, exhausted from the futile effort. Maya walked over and offered him a hand up. Her grip surprisingly gentle. "You did well," she said. "Most cadets don't last 3 minutes against Earthborn reflexes." "How?" Ferret managed, accepting her help. "How is any of this possible?" Maya smiled. And for the first time, Ferret saw not just the warrior but the human beneath, someone who carried the weight of a violent evolutionary history with something approaching sadness. "Because for 2 million years," she said quietly, "everything on our planet was trying to kill us. And we didn't just survive it, we conquered it. We domesticated the wolves that hunted us. We farmed the plants that poisoned us. We took a world that wanted us dead and made it our home." She glanced up at the observation deck, where the galaxy's finest military minds watched in silent assessment. "So, when you fire a scanner bolt at a human?" Maya continued, her voice carrying a weight that made even Commander Vexthal's sensory stalks quiver. "You're not fighting one cadet. You're fighting 2 million years of evolution that taught us one simple lesson: adapt or die." She released his hand and turned toward the exit, calling back over her shoulder, "Welcome to the Academy, Ferret. You're going to learn a lot about humans here." As she disappeared through the doorway, the observation deck remained silent, each instructor contemplating the same uncomfortable truth. Humanity hadn't joined the galactic community as equals. They joined as survivors of something far worse than anything the galaxy had ever known, and that made them the most dangerous allies or enemies the stars had ever seen.